Wow, this is wonderful. Seeing you all here, thank you very much. We all have our memories of Mom, of Glennis, of Ma, and I imagine you're going to go with you all for many, many years to come. I only have a few minutes here to just give you a glimpse of what Mom meant to me, and afterwards there's a coffee hour back here in traditional Trinity Church coffee hour, and there'll be a lot of opportunity for more anecdotes and stories, but there's so many. I wanted to say that we don't get to choose who our parents are. A lot of my friends would remind me of that when I whined a little bit, and I recognize once again how fortunate I am to be one of 8 brothers and sisters in this crazy, fun, bold family with Mom and Dad at the helm. Mom was always a passionate person in my life. She was not short or shy to give her opinion. And her opinions were never couched with a wag of a finger. Sometimes she would cry as she gave me her opinion. But she would always send me notes when I was at college or at camp for the summers. And I thought getting a letter from your mom was normal. And so I would get them and read them. And it wasn't until I was probably about 22 when I was reading a letter from my mom. I had moved into Cambridge. And I shared it with somebody and they said, wow, my mother's never written me. That's the kind of woman she was. And she always concluded with a Bible verse too. At first I thought her Bible verse agenda was to get me to believe what she believed, to get me to read it the way she would read it. But I since learned that it really wasn't that. It was just her sharing what she believed. And it helped shape who she was. And she would just give me a glimpse into her heart. And her heart was endless. I knew her on so many unique fronts. She loved being backstage at a concert. She was not a fan or a groupie. She was a person with an inquisitive mind and a sense of accountability to even this lead singer of the band. And they all loved her too. But I wanted to share one quick story with you folks about her, and then move this on to our next person. But I would take Mom for walks when she was would come up and visit and kind of give Dad a break for Mom when she had Alzheimer's, and we'd walk down along the river or get in a car and ride, go to a farm, or when nobody was looking, I'd put the smallest motorcycle helmet on her head I could, and we'd go out for a motorcycle ride. And while it's not a story, it's a tangent. She would put her hands up like this behind her on the bike, and when we go in first or second gear in a small town with people on sidewalks, she would make this sound like, whee! And of course, if you look closely at her, her head was bobbling in her head. And then I'd bring it back, and if there was a sibling near me, they looked at me like, what, are you nuts? But I took Mom for a walk this day, and I asked her, and she came out with a question. She said, how's Michael Bean? And Michael Bean is a man that she loved, an artist and friend of mine for many, many years, and they both cared deeply for each other. And I said to her, Mom, he passed a couple of years ago. And she paused like she would do, like I don't know if she was drifting somewhere else or forgot what we just said or whatever, and then she came back to me and said, well, that's good, I'm glad he's passed all the problems. And he's at peace, so it's good he's passed. Which led me to my question that I had, and I wanted to ask her, and didn't know quite what the right etiquette was in asking her, or if it was too confronting, but nonetheless, I said, Mom, what do you think it's going to be like when you pass? What do you think when you come to consciousness after you pass from here? Would you imagine some scenario, some situation, what it's going to be like? Always curious as to those people on the cusp of passing, if they have any more clarity than us. And she said, no, I don't think so. And we walked quietly for about 5 minutes and stood looking out at the water. And I said, well, you know, Mom, I have this image of what's going to happen maybe for you when you pass. Can I share it with you? And she said, sure. And I said, I just imagine you coming to consciousness and there's a green lawn, kind of hill sloping up with some beautiful trees, and in between a couple of those trees is a horse. And the horse is recognizing you, not me, you. And I'm standing there, and the distance is growing between us, and the horse gives out a snort of invitation, moves its head a little bit, and Mom just leaves me behind and walks towards the horse. Goes over to the horse, and with each step, I see her getting stronger. And she gets herself up on that horse like it was, you know, back in the 40s when she would ride downtown from Wade all the way down to Washburn on her horse Jazz. And I saw her with the leathers in her hands and pulling them tight and holding them a little bit. And then she made this sound that I've heard her make several times before when she takes a horse from standing still to a trot, to a gallop. And she turned and trotted into a gallop up the hill. And she grabbed my arm and she said, "That's it. That's exactly what's going to happen to me." All right. I'll keep that one. So, you know, my mom I would look at my mom's life as a tremendous success. And how do you measure success in the life? The legacy you leave behind. Sure, we all have mistakes. We all fall short one way or another. Mom was maybe too shy, but she not only influenced the lives of of her own kids, but the lives of many friends and many other kids. She was champions of each of us individually. I could see that so many times. Sometimes I would get jealous. It's always about Ramona Silver. Or maybe about Jill and Jill's cartwheels and her capacity to excel at whatever. But she was a champion of each of us individually, and there was never anything taken away from each of us for the other. She was always wanted to be on our guest list, whether it was Michael's or Joel's. She just loved to be our guest and hear what's going on. And then if she had an opinion about something, she'd give it. And it was totally always welcome. But she was a successful woman, and the legacy of her life will continue. And it's evidenced by all of you here. And all the condolences that we received from so many people that couldn't make it. It's beautiful. This is a celebration. We're celebrating a woman who's a cowgirl, a farm girl, a mother of 8. She called us little rigs sometimes, and she was a little rig. She could not sit still because she had a lot to do, a lot of life to live, a lot of places to walk. And she wanted to hear from each of you. And that's my mom.
Yeah.
Next. I'm sorry, I'm next. Sorry, Sherry. Mom would put verses, as I mentioned earlier, into our notes, and they're handwritten, they're beautiful. And one of the frequent ones was Romans 8:28. And I don't know, did you get a card on the way in with this?
There's more on the way out.
There's more on the way out.
We all know it.
But Romans 8:28, I wonder if you could either think the scripture or say it out loud, not just as a testimony of something that she believed. So when we say this together, we're saying this in Glennis's voice, you know, and it goes like this. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. It's going to be okay. It already is.